They say that time waits for no one. So why do we spend so much of it hiding who we really are? In this world obsessed with productivity hacks and time management, I met up with Cyan Borum, one of Austin's co-working pioneers, and what she revealed in our conversation might transform how you think about making the most of your time. Welcome back to Promenade. Well, hello ladies and gentlemen. Do you know what this is?
Cyan?
It's Promenade 15. Noah Master, Cyan Borum, entrepreneur, community founder, and probably the queen of co-working in Austin, if not arguably all of Texas. It's good to have you here.
It's good to be here. Thank you.
All right, so...
Queen of co-working, I like that.
Queen of co-working. So to me, you seem like a very productive person. This is like your middle name. I am a lot less so a lot of the time. If there was like a single action, a highest impact action that someone who wants to be more productive could take, what would that be?
The Pomodoro method has been the best vehicle for productivity, which is working in 25 to 35 minute sprints and then taking breaks in between. In your breaks, you get up and you walk and you stretch your eyes and you hydrate and you make sure that you're nourished.
Stretch your eyes?
Yeah.
So that you're not... You stretch your eyes.
There's actually this method called the 20-20-20, which is every 20 minutes, you look 20 feet in the distance for 20 seconds. Okay. And it helps with the macular degeneration caused by too much screen time.
So you're actually working your eyesight out.
Yeah.
By looking at things that are far.
When you're too deep into something, it's harder to see it from the bigger picture. And the way that you stretch your eyes does the same thing. It's like it gets you out of the minutia, remembering like, why am I doing this again? Oh, right. And then coming back to that like motivation, the purpose of why you're even trying to focus to begin with.
There's like a broader life side of it as well.
Yeah.
Like if you're too close in the details, you will miss the big picture.
Exactly.
Possibly.
Yeah.
You take risks?
Yes.
What is a risk that you think other people should take in their lives?
First of all, I want to say that risk is relative. And why I hesitated to answer that is because I think risky people don't see themselves as risky. It's just in their nature to like be spontaneous, to learn something firsthand. So what risk should other people take? Becoming an entrepreneur is a big risk relative to most people. To me, that wasn't a huge risk. It was just like my nature. I felt compelled to. There was no plan B. There was only that option. But what does feel really risky, what gets reflected back to me is how courageous I am for wearing my heart on my sleeve.
Okay, you got to expand on that.
That's a risk that I think a lot of people don't take, and that's one I can't comprehend, is like, why wouldn't you give all of your love to things all the time? And people are afraid because, you know, it's very vulnerable, it's very risky. But I find myself constantly like having this abundance of love and just giving it away for free all the time because there's always going to be more. But it is a risk because, you know, it doesn't always come back to me in the ways that I expect it to.
Yeah. That is actually a beautiful lesson. So if there's any risk that other people could take that could change their lives, it would probably be to be more vulnerable, to take a risk with your own heart and the way you engage in the world.
Yeah.
Let people know how you really feel.
Yeah. Love unabashedly. To full send your love on people, on things, on ideas. Like, why not?
You're only going to get to do this one time.
Yeah.
That's the thing I wake up thinking so many times is like, I got to do another day. I want to do the best I can possibly do with this one because I might not get another one. I certainly hope I do, but tomorrow isn't promised.
Yeah, and
go get that.
You get back what you put in. So if you put your whole heart into things, there's a higher possibility that you'll get that back than if you are more reserved.
How do you handle those times though where you give a lot and you don't receive it back? How do you handle that experience? What can you learn from that?
Well, I think that's why why loving so boldly is the best risk you can take, because no matter how it turns out, you're going to practice a lot of resilience. You're going to learn courage. You're going to learn how to bounce back from things. You're going to learn that Abundance is the nature of the universe. Everything keeps growing, time keeps moving. You'll always come back from love lost. Whether it's an idea that failed or a relationship that failed, it's never going to kill you. And you know what they say.
Oh, yes. Okay. I refuse to say it. Y'all already know it. Y'all already know it. Read in between the lines. So I do want to talk about Momentum Coworking. Your co-working group that you built from the ground up. The headlining value is the idea that you're connecting people, like-minded people. I wanted to understand how your perception or idea of connection has changed as you spent so much time connecting other people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. People come there to work, but the reason why they stay is because they develop these connections. I always thought like that the best connections were the ones that were easy and effortless.
Yeah.
You know, like you have those friends who you've had your whole life and you can go months without talking to, but you're still best friends.
Yeah.
It's the connections that are a little bit more challenging that expand me as a person.
Yeah.
And I see that a lot in Momentum, because just because we're connecting over the desire to be productive doesn't mean that we align in other values.
Sure.
So it requires a lot of curiosity from me, a lot of patience, a lot of compassion. It's a consistent practice of being curious and growing those bonds with people, whether it's based on proximity or shared goals or shared values. I've noticed that people think that they're coming like just for something to do, but what they're really seeking at the end of the day, everybody just wants to be seen.
Oh.
Everybody wants to be accepted for exactly as they are. I've worked really hard to create a come as you are environment where like you don't have to be inspired and stoked and motivated to be allowed here. You can come depressed, overwhelmed, feeling antisocial, and those people often tend to be the ones that come the most often because they feel like it's okay to be exactly as they are there.
I was going to say, how do you help people feel seen? Because that can be applied to so many areas outside of like a co-working group.
I think it's about like matching their energy. In order to like keep this community tight and make everybody feel like it's a place that is worth their time and investing in, I get to match their energy. And sometimes I go and I'm in a shitty mood, but I match someone's energy and then all of a sudden I'm inspired and motivated.
I heard there have been times where you tried to quit your own project in the past. Like you were like, I'm trying to shut this thing down, and people wouldn't let you.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Where did you hear that? That's so funny. I have left for months at a time and told everybody it's over, and I come back and they're still doing it.
They created something with a life of its own.
Yeah, and they won't let me leave. They won't let us quit. So yeah, it's really taken on a life of its own.
Are you proud of it? Really very proud of it?
I am, and I feel like it's not necessarily mine to be proud of. It's like having a kid and being like, look, I made a lawyer. Like, no, your kid went to college and made themselves a lawyer. You know? You
tipped the first domino.
Yeah.
Would you have any advice for someone who's thinking about tipping the first domino?
I think this goes back to like the love thing, to like, don't be afraid to send it and fail, and it's okay. And also, like, stick with things. For the first like 4 months, there were days where nobody would show up to co-working. We'd go from having 20 people on a Monday to me sitting alone for 3 hours working. But regardless, like, it was for me, and I was gonna show up whether people did or not. So I think like the courage, the consistency, and like the reconnecting to like why you're doing it in the first place. You know, if it brings you value, then it doesn't matter whether other people buy into it.
You don't need necessarily the outside validation or attachment that other people may put on it for it to be a success for yourself.
Yeah. And that would also be like one of my biggest productivity tips. Your number one job is to feel good and to stay inspired, and that will catch on and people will buy into that. Like, no matter how much value or how you quantify what you're doing, it doesn't matter if you don't believe in it and if you don't feel it. And people pick up on that. And I think that's why Momentum has been such a success, because like I really believe in it.
Yeah.
It is my religion to like be inspired and to stay fucking inspired and find something to be stoked about, regardless of what anyone else thinks. Like, how can I just feel good and let that be the thing that infects other people and keeps them magnetized to the group?
People are drawn to passion. People believe in passion, and if it's not there, they will smell it. But if the passion is there, there's the possibility to tip that first domino and maybe create something that goes out of your control in the very best way possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
I appreciate you coming for this walk in the mall with me. With that being said, guys, if you can think of anyone else fascinating like Cyan that you think I should talk to, please just drop that down in the comments below. Other than that, we will see you next Sunday. Be healthy, be good. Noah Master, Cyan Borum, Promenade.